Well, good afternoon and welcome everybody to Franklin County Speedway. The Autos by Nelson 225 here this afternoon. Race number 5 technically on the tour schedule, but was scheduled to be race number 6. A rain out at Ace Speedway kind of curtailed that schedule, if you will, and it'll be adjusted and made up later this season is the plan. So nonetheless, we are here at Franklin County, and in the first half of the season, it has been a Jim Dandy of a year, and Franklin County Speedway circled on their calendar when it came time to, well, figure out what racetrack they thought they may have a really good shot. I think everybody had this one circled. You might know me, of course, Tony Stevens up here in the booth with Doc Love from Race 22 Radio. He's joining us. Grew up many a nights here at the Franklin County Speedway, and he told me he has stories galore if we get into that situation, so I'm not sure if I want to hear those, Doc.
Oh, absolutely. It is a homecoming, not only for me, but for several of these drivers. It's awesome to see as I hear the first one ready to go, but Jimmy Mullins, DARYN, COCKRAM, Gillespie, these guys, it's a homecoming for them to get to race in the big show.
It certainly is. As we get set with the first car here in Hedgecock pole qualifying out of Anderson, South Carolina. This is JANSON MARCHBANKS. And MARCHBANKS going to be on what we call the warm-up lap, essentially, here on lap number 1. So that one didn't count. Now he is on the clock for the first of 2 timed laps here at Franklin County.
And you know, Boo Carlisle, Mr. Kicking Asphalt, follows him around, does a video. He selected for him. He drew the peel and drew the number 1. So
he's fired.
Yeah. JANSON said one and done.
13.863 the first lap for JANSON MARCHBANKS. 13.863. And MARCHBANKS off into turn number 3 for the second and final time. Let's see what lap number 2 is for Mr. MARCHBANKS. He picks it up slightly to a 13.827. 13.827 for JANSON MARCHBANKS. So not a bad run, but I have a feeling that he might have a few if practice is any indication that he might be a little different.
And he did that sideways off of 4.
You're right, he did.
Another one sideways.
They're all going to be sideways tonight, that's what I'm told.
Yeah.
Next driver on track, the number 2 out of Oak Ridge, North Carolina. This is Brandon Pierce for the Lee Pulliam Performance Stables. Pierce's last race here, and right there in the turn 4 wall a couple of years ago. He's hoping that's not the case this year. First lap, Brandon Pierce, 13.937. 13.937. We'll see what he can do here in this one.
5th in points, 3 top 10s.
And lap number 2 for Brandon Pierce, 13.857, Doc, 13.857. Good enough for still second fastest overall. We just had a brief rain shower here at Franklin County, and it's starting to maybe act like the track slowed down a little bit with that rain shower. And we're still 2/10 off what we saw in practice earlier today.
Right. Mike Looney was in ludicrous speed, so possibly the track record falling tonight by multiple drivers. We'll have to wait and see as HEAFNER comes by his first lap.
A new fast time on lap 1 for Jacob HEAFNER. 13.742. 13.742 for Jacob HEAFNER. He too sideways in turns 3 and 4. And second lap slower, but first lap the lap of record for Jacob HEAFNER at a 13.742.
Carroll Speed Shop got that race car looking good.
That they do as HEAFNER coasts to the pit area down the back straightaway. This is 1. Yeah, we just about had a moment there. This is one of the drivers everybody had their eyes on here out of Mooresville, North Carolina in the Junior Motorsports iRacing.com Chevrolet. This is Carson Quapple. Lap number 1 for Carson Quapple. It's a new track record.
That escalated quickly.
13.559. 13.559.
Wow.
New track record. And he slows down on lap number 2.
If you notice that first lap, he was planted over in turn 4, not loose, so got that car hooked up, got 1 win so far. So far this year, we got 4 different winners with the series. May change tonight. We'll have to wait and see. 4 top 5s to go with that victory. Led 66 laps so far.
Yes, Carson, one of the guys that everybody has their eye on, but this is probably the silver bullet in the gun that every person on the property has one, if not two eyes on. Yesterday in practice, Doc, they did not make a lap, did Mike Looney in this 87 car, until the final session. Everybody was kind of loading up. Everybody was chill. As soon as they saw Mike Looney go on the racetrack, everybody literally dropped everything, went to the wall, pulled out the race monitor, pulled out the stopwatch, and said, all right, what's he got? What are we up against? And the warm-up lap from Mike Looney, well, we didn't expect anything great because he didn't put a lot into it at a 13.938, but here's the first one. What does Looney have? Lap number 1. New track record, Mike Looney, 13.495. 13.495, Mike Looney, sideways through turns 3 and 4. Does he have more? He does not.
Oh, my goodness. Ludicrous speed, time and time again. So, yeah, this is a homecoming for him. He is looking for this. 3 starts, 3 DNFs. Definitely looking to do better tonight.
Yeah, the Harrison's workwear crew, they've been working hard for all the wrong reasons this year, and certainly hoping the luck can turn around here tonight at their home racetrack. Well, another cat that thought he might have a shot at the Hedgecock Racing pole position is on the track now out of Aledo, Texas. This is one of the Autos by Nelson drivers, KADEN HONEYCUTT. 2 wins in his Cars Tour career, and lap number 1 for KADEN HONEYCUTT. 3rd fastest overall to 13.653.
1 top 5 so far, 3 top 10s. Led 72 laps so far. He's been running a lot of dirt, so I think that's going to pay off in his asphalt career as well.
Well, he looks sideways there in 3 and 4. That might be why. And again, lap 2 slower for HONEYCUTT, and I misspoke. His first lap of record, 13.635. I got dyslexic on you. 13.635 for KADEN HONEYCUTT. So that puts him 3rd out of the 6 drivers that have taken the time thus far.
Oh, here's another one for homecoming. Kyle Dudley out of Roanoke, Virginia.
Kyle has a pole to his Cars Tour credit. Came at the Motor Mile Speedway 1 year ago for the Roanoke driver. So he, too, would love to do nothing more than to put that thing on the point here this afternoon. The great 611 State Company Chevrolet. Lap number 1 for Dudley. Solid, but not enough for the 13.708. Good enough for 4th fastest.
He and Mike Looney goes nose to nose, door to door, a lot at Motor Mile, and he says that has helped his driving career.
Most likely has, and it's helped him more here. P2, Kyle Dudley, nice. 13.544. 13.544 unofficially. 4 drivers already under the track record here at Franklin County. And another one taking his stab at it out of Indian Trail, North Carolina, the Miracle Dental Center, number 32. This is Zach Miracle.
This young man has shown speed everywhere. The performance there, but the finishes are not. So definitely expect to be him very close to the top of the charts, if not on the top.
He was 5th fastest on the warm-up lap. What's the first lap that counts? 2nd fastest, Zach Miracle, 13.525. He needs 3/100ths of a second to knock Mike Looney off the provisional pole. Off the final turn, Zach Miracle slows down. Mike Looney still safe. While the next car of Trevor Ward takes his warm-up lap, we'll head down trackside to James Pike in the pits for us here today. James?
Down here with Mike Looney, who has the provisional pole with the 13.49, and it looked quick from our perspective. Did it feel as quick from behind the wheel?
Yeah, it feels really quick. I don't know if that'll hold up or not. These solid rock carriers, Cars Tour guys are professionals, and really, really hard to beat these guys. Just can't thank Billy Martin enough. HarrisonsUSA.com, Hopkins Lumber, the folks that give me the opportunity to do this, and I don't know if that's fast enough, but that's as fast as I want to go. That's pretty good. So Franklin County Speedway, you got to love it, man. Fast racetrack. Driver can get up on the wheel, and ain't many places that get my heart going anymore, so we're having fun.
It's a track he knows really well, so maybe not a huge surprise that he's currently top of the leaderboard.
Thank you, James. And yeah, when Mike Looney says it's as fast as he wants to go, you know it was fast. Update, Trevor Ward, 5th fastest on his lap.
Deke McCaskill going on the racetrack now. Expected to see him be up the top of the charts as well. Mike Looney told me earlier today he woke up PO'd. So you know he's going to race.
You know he's going to race hard, yeah. That's not good news for the rest of the field when Mike Looney wakes up PO'd. No doubt about that. On track now, former Cars Tour Series champion out of Raleigh, North Carolina, lap number 1 for the 08 of Deke McCaskill. 8th fastest overall, 13.806. 13.806 for Deke McCaskill. Second time around for Deke. He picks up 1 spot with a 13.733. So Deke McCaskill, 7th fastest overall.
Deke scaling back a little bit. 2 starts. He got a top 5 and a top 10 so far, but scaling back a little bit, but still fast.
Always fast is Deke McCaskill. And look who's on track now. Speaking of fast, this kid has found some speed recently in the Robbie Jones Racing number 44 Toyota. This is Connor Jones out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. He paced practice for a portion of the day yesterday as well. And Connor Jones, let's see what he can do here on lap number 1. Oh, a little sideways there for Connor Jones. He's 9th fastest overall to 13.756. See what lap number 2 has for Connor. He sails it off into turn number 3. Gets the car cranked down the hill. Second time around is slower for Connor Jones. 9th fastest overall. Once again, let's head down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina's James Pike on pit lane. James?
Ryan with Kyle Dudley. You said a fast time there. And Kyle, how much does your knowledge of this place, being a local driver, help you lay down a fast lap here?
I'm not sure it helps you so much with a fast lap, but I think it'll pay off in the race more than a qualifying deal. But definitely helps that laps around here. You kind of know where you want to be and where you want to hit your line and your marks and everything. It's comfortable. You've been running a million laps around this place. You're just comfortable here, so that's always a good thing.
How excited are you to get it going, especially with this weather tool, cool track? Do you feel like it suits the car well?
It's going to be awesome. I had this on circuit for a long time. I'm so glad we had such a good turnout with 27 cars. Just ready to get out here and do battle with them out here, man. Get these people a show. I know nobody's seen this track have this many cars on it in years, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get out there.
When we come to this track, he's always a threat, so you're going to want to watch for Kyle Dudley when we get to the feature a little bit later.
Thank you very much, James, as Connor MOSACK just put his Toyota 5th fastest overall. Good run for the Nick Taylor custom fit underwear Toyota. Another one out of the Carroll Speed Shop, out-qualified his teammate Jacob HEAFNER.
Yeah, it's good to see Connor back with the series. Raced with us quite often in years past, and did some road racing. So he says that's elevated his driving game as well. Probably has, and you may notice this car has a little bit of a different look. This is Youngsville, North Carolina's Andrew Grady. Great run at the Goodyear All-American Speedway and the ABC Hosiery Chevrolet. And lap number 1 for Grady. It's the warm-up lap. His 13th fastest overall. So not a great warm-up lap for him. But the number 91 for Andrew Grady today. Jonathan Schaefer and Grady working out something with I guess the Touring 12 or the ownership or something. I don't know what happened, but ultimately that's why he is in the number 91. So not a great run for Andrew Grady. He's 11th fastest overall here this afternoon after 13 cars have made an attempt. Andrew Grady, he's one of those drivers that's kind of flying under the radar. He's got 2 top 10s, but he's led 55 laps. So the performance is there, but not really being noticed yet. But they will notice him soon. Oh, I guarantee you they will, especially after that run at Goodyear. They've noticed this guy, too, out of Kernersville, North Carolina. Watch out. Hang on to it. Bobby McCarty, lap number 1. The Autos by Nelson Chevrolet, 6th fastest overall. McCarty, a 3-time and defending series champion. Can he pick it up an extra 10th or so on lap 2? He cannot. Bobby McCarty, 6th fastest overall. Out-qualified his teammate KADEN HONEYCUTT. But, oh boy, I have a feeling that Bobby's not going to be happy. That big slide off turn 4 likely did him in. Looks like Carter Langley was taking a page out of Mike Looney's notebook there, going very slow on that first lap. Warm-up lap. I mean, and it worked for Mike, so why not? Absolutely. I mean, I've been very impressed with Carter Langley since he came on my radar. First time I seen him race was at Wake County Speedway, then South Boston, and they did a whole lot with the little S. Now he's in some great equipment, and the young man is performing very well. Absolutely. He's got hooked up with the RPM group, the owners of that number 5 Chevrolet, and lap number 1 for Carter Langley leaves a little bit to be desired. 12th fastest overall at a 13.770. 13.770. About 20 minutes ago, that was near a track record lap. Now it's in the back half of the field. 9th fastest overall for Carter Langley at 13.681. So about mid-pack or so
for Carter Langley.
But he'll race good. I mean, he's in a three-way. He's in that three-way tie for 5th in points. So, and that's something he talks about. I got to work on my qualifying, but he races good.
Does race good. And this cat has learned how to race too. Out of King William, Virginia, the number 8 of Chase Burrow, running for the Bilstein Rookie of the Year. And while he gets up to speed, we'll head down trackside yet again to James Pike. Or not. We'll get him all sorted out there momentarily. But Chase Burrow, lap number 1 for him. It's solid, 4th fastest overall at a 13.550. Second trip around is slower for Chase Burrow, but still pretty sporty run on the outside of row number 2. And while Connor Hall gets up to speed, we'll head down again to James Pike.
The second time as the Sean. We're with Connor MOSACK, who put a P5 on the board when he went out there. Connor, you've run for a few teams in the Cars Tour, so what's it like running for Justin Carroll and Carroll Speed Shop?
Yeah, it's been a great weekend so far. This is really one of the best late models I've ever had, and I like this track a lot. So I think we have really good long run speed, and for me to qualify relatively good too is always a good sign, and I think that means we'll have a really good car in the race.
An excited Connor MOSACK ready to go later tonight.
Thank you very much, James, as Connor Hall from Hampton, Virginia is on track. And if you believe in numerology, the 77, 7th fastest thus far at a 13.583. Again, broke the pre-existing track record. Problem is, Mike Looney has it right now. Lap 2, Connor Hall, 2nd fastest overall. Nearly knocked Mike Looney off at a 13.523. 1 spot short, but a great starting spot, looks like, for Connor Hall with a 13.523.
Last 2 races, he's come on like gangbusters. Got 2 poles, and he got that victory, and he's winning $10,000 races outside of the Tour, so he's on a roll. Started last year being on a roll, being hot, started at Hickory.
And he is the most recent winner on the Tour over at Goodyear. Seems a long time ago. Well, it was a month ago after the rain out at Ace. Speaking of guys, they're trying to get things done. Man, if this kid could just catch a break out of the Manassas, Virginia area, driver number 24 is Mason Diaz in the Solid Rock Carriers Chevrolet. His first lap, 11th fastest overall. And Mason off turn number 4 nearly clips that curb. Second trip around, Mason Diaz slightly slower. So lap 1, the lap of record at a 13.648. Again, broke the pre-existing track record. That's a theme, it seems like, here tonight.
How many so far?
Depends which record you use. Mike Looney was about a 70. Alex Jantz, the old UARA, with a 4-barrel carburetor, was a 64.
Yeah, that's 2 different rules. So
right.
We're
so ultimately,
UARA.
if we use the 70 as the mark, 12 cars have broken the unofficial track record.
The Cars Tour late model record. Here's one of the guys that has done a lot of laps here. DARYN COCKRAM out of Draper, Virginia, driving a Lee Pulliam performance car. Really excited to make his debut here with the Cars Tour. What's he got on that first lap?
Well, lap number 1 for DARYN COCKRAM, and it's not great. 19th fastest, 14.049. 14.049. Let's see what he can muster here the second trip around. Cockram's second trip, slightly faster, but still 19th out of 19 cars at a 13.913.
Here's my buddy Dylan Ward out of Walkertown, North Carolina. Dylan Ward racing DeWalt Performance. He has made 2 starts so far. Have not got the finishes that he expected, but he's glad to be here. He's won in a pro late model, the Bowman Gray rules, which is basically a pro late model, and won in a modified here. So he's got a lot of laps here and won some races.
Maybe one of those unsung heroes by the end of the night tonight. Went back and talked to him earlier. They said, "Who told you that?" I said, "Well, I got my sources." So, yeah, that source would be Doc Love, but Dylan needs to find a source for some speed right now. He now 19th fastest at a 13.899. Again, 13.899 for Dylan Ward. He'd like to have about 4/10 right now. Let's see if he can find it. He found some of it. 13.709 for Dylan Ward. So 13th fastest overall. Jason York is on track while he warms it up. Let's head down yet again to James Pike.
Ryan with Connor Hall is P2 on the board, and Connor almost a chance to get back-to-back poles like you had at Greenville. What were you missing on that lap to get to P1?
Oh, man, hell, compared to the guy who got it, about 1,000 laps around here. But, you know, we never really made a mock run. We just worried about race speed. It really seems like every time we really worry about mock run speed, we end up too loose in the race. So we just stayed on that. You know, that's the mind game, but or no thought process. But when I got in the gas, just right in the middle, 1 and 2 on my money lap, it just barely pushed a little bit, and it felt really good. But I mean, to beat something like that, it's that much. So. And I'm really happy. Like I said, none of us have ever been here, so pretty successful outing at least, and we'll hopefully make it happen in the race.
Hoping to end the night with back-to-back victories at Greenville and here at Franklin County.
Thank you, James. And yes, good run there for Connor Hall. By the way, Jason York was on track. 17th fastest overall for Jason York at a 13.787. Hey, if you're on social checking us out, tag your buddies, hit the share button. Tell us where you are watching from, who you're cheering for. Robert Gillespie's watching from Pelzer, South Carolina. Linda Ward, imagine that's cheering for Dylan. Ray Nicely is cheering on the 87 VA of Mike Looney. Tyler Williams, glad to hear Doc Love up here in the booth as well, as Chad McCumbee is on track at the moment. And McCumbee, 12th fastest on lap number 1, Doc, at a 13.662. 13.662 betters it slightly the second time around to a 13.606. Ninth fastest overall.
I don't think people realize how good of a late model stock car driver Chad McCumbee is. So far this year in 4 starts, he's got that victory, 2 top 5s. He's led the most laps so far, 120 laps.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what's on the stat.
Yeah. That's hard to believe, and I'm the guy that sits there and supposed to look at that, and I didn't even realize that. Yikes. That tells you a lot. Picked up that first win at Hickory, did Chad McCumbee. And a guy looking for his first win in the Cars Tour from Henry, Virginia, not too far from here. The number 26 of Tony Hausman, the Finish Line Automotive. Jeff's Car Care and Daniels Auto Glass Chevrolet. And lap number 1 for Hausman needs to find some speed. 23rd fastest at a 14.489. And while Hausman finishes his run, let's see what he can do here. Picks it up slightly to a 14.407, still 23rd overall. Let's head down one more time to James Pike.
Why I'm with the man who's currently third on the board, Zach Miracle. And Zach, your first time here at Franklin County. What are your impressions of this place?
Yeah, this place is insane. It has so much grip, so much character. You really got to hustle it around here. Car's really fast. We're sitting third, I think, right now in qualifying. Hopefully we can stay there, and I think we got a really good piece for tonight.
He's shown a lot of speed in the first few races of the season, just trying to string it all together to come up with a good finish. Zach Miracle.
Thank you, James. And yeah, a little bit of good luck he would love to have as Braden Rogers from Bakersfield, California, puts his first lap down. 13.677. 13.677 for Braden Rogers. That's good enough for 13th fastest. Also broke the former track record. And lap 2 for Rogers, faster still. 13.596. Another car that broke the old track records. 9th fastest for the Californian in the Lee Falk racing ride.
Yeah, all I got to say about it, I'm done with you, Lee Falk, and Braden Rogers and all that crew. They about killed me last night. No, I'm just teasing.
I heard there was moonshine involved.
Yeah, they said, here, try this. And I didn't drink. Just make sure we get that clear. I tasted a little of the local cuisine.
I heard the smell was enough to get you drunk last night.
Man, I thought I took a cup of ammonia. And they said, ooh, ain't it smooth?
Oh, it's smooth, all right. Oh, boy. On track now, out of the great state of Georgia, Woodstock, the town. This is the overtime Chevrolet of Hayden. Swank, first lap, 25th fastest overall to 14.449. And looks like he may be a little bit quicker on his second lap. Yes, 24th fastest overall for Hayden Swank. So he bumps it up 1 spot ahead of Tony Hausman. 2 bullets left in the gun for Mike Looney, and they are names that are very familiar to fans here at Franklin County Speedway.
Jimmy Mullins has won in everything from tricycles to modifieds right here at Franklin County Speedway. He is a staple here, has been for many, many years. Last time Daniel and I was here filming, he and DARYN COCKRAM put on an exhibition on the track and off the track, so we'll have to see if we have to keep them guys separated today.
Yeah, let's hope that's not a thing, but they are on top of one another in the standings right now. Mullins 23rd fastest to the 13.880, and that's not where he would like to be. He does slow down, in fact, on lap 2, does Jimmy Mullins. So first lap will be the lap of record for Jimmy Mullins. And for Mike Looney, there is 1 more bullet left in the gun. The 18G of Bobby Gillespie out of Floyd, Virginia. The No Rest Farm, Jeff's Car Care, and Liquid Performance Ford He now will be on the clock this time by.
Yep, out of Floyd, Virginia, just down the road. Always a staple here at Franklin County Speedway. They race like a limited late model, and sometimes the other. What's the other? The
Chargers. There's all kinds of stuff.
And he's raced and been a really good performer in all three of those types of cars here.
Gillespie, 13.993, his first lap of record. By the way, I want to say hi to Jim Swan from Somerville, South Carolina, Dwayne Brown from Essex, Ontario, David Luera from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Jamie Ruley is out in Buena Vista trying to make his way here. Jim Bryant's cheering on Connor Hall from Claremont, North Carolina. And Gillespie's second lap will be slower, so he is 25th fastest. And hard to believe, with a new track record, 13.495 seconds, averaging nearly 100 miles per hour around this Franklin County Speedway. Mike Looney is, in fact, the Hedgecock pole winner here for the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour. And I believe James Pike is down there waiting for Mike Looney to make his way to the car. So,
when I was a teenager here in the 80s, early 80s, on the wall it said, Franklin County Speedway, the world's fastest 3/8 mile racetrack. I believe it proved it today.
It did. It did prove it today. And the average speed, by the way, in excess of 100 miles per hour. 100.037 miles per hour for Mike Looney. That's a track record that may stand the test of time here this afternoon. Meanwhile, just like that, the Pro Late models are on track for their Molly Pistons pole qualifying session. And a Wisconsinite, well, not quite, sort of by heritage, North Carolinian by birth, Caden Quapple is on track now, the number 35 CorvetteParts.net Chevrolet, and he'll lay down the lap to beat at a 13.641.
I really expect this is going to be an exciting race with the Pro Late models here. 7 states, is it province or Providence?
Province.
Province. Okay, I even had that in my notes. Just want to make sure I had it right. 5 from North Carolina, 1 from Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, South Carolina, Virginia, and Wisconsin. So we got racers from all over the country in this race.
We do. One of them from which is from Minnesota, on track now in the Starkey Hearing, number 6 for Brandon Setzer and Dennis Setzer Racing. This is William Sawallich. While he puts it up to speed and makes his lap, let's head down to James Pike, who has our Hedgecock Pole Award winner in Mike Looney. James?
Starting P1 in the Autos by Nelson, 225 for the Cars Tour Late Model Stock Cars. Mike Looney, after everything that you've been through this year and all the bad luck you all have had, how good does it feel to put down this lap and start up front?
Man, it's really special. I thank God for the people he's putting around me, my family and team. You know, it's really hard to compete at this level, and it's really, really blessed. We've had a pretty dismal start this year in the Cars Tour. It's a very humbling series. Like I said before, these guys are professionals, and it's a real honor to even compete with them, let alone sit on the pole. But you know, my home track, I got to defend the home ground. I think about 15 cars broke my old track record, so I'm just really grateful I was here to set the new track record. And we cheated a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. We broke out something secret. My old golden shoes from 2019, we won the state championship. Wore those shoes every night. And my car chief, Matt Peters, he said that I'd be wearing these shoes from now on. So maybe it's the shoes, maybe it's the Lord smiling on us, but either way, you know, we'll take it. I want to thank Autos by Nelson, you know, for sponsoring the race, Solid Rock Carriers, Hopkins Lumber, Harrison's USA, all the folks that make it possible. Looking forward to the race.
And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe he was also wearing those shoes in that battle in 2020 that he had with Jarrett Fryer here. So we'll let him pick up his Hedgecock Pole Award and then get ready for 125 laps of action later on this evening.
Thank you very much, James. And yes, an extra $250 always goes good in the bank account. While we're hearing Mike Looney's thoughts about how he cheated with the golden shoes. Didn't know that was a rule, but apparently it was in his mind. Luke Finhouse put the Soda Sense number 96 on the provisional Molly Pistons pole. William Sawallich currently second. And this driver in the number 77 out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, Logan Jones, currently 4th fastest overall, and he will stay 4th fastest with a 13.785. His second lap will be the lap of record. So Logan Jones, 4th out of 4 attempts, or 4 who have attempted to qualify thus far.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Dennis Setzer, who just recently been inducted to the Catawba County Motorsports Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Dennis Setzer.
Do not adjust your sets if you're watching at home, and do not adjust the PA. Normally, this car is driven by Penn Krim. Quite literally, we just found out the driver has changed this afternoon to Mobile, Alabama's Cale Gale, former winner in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He now going to give Franklin County Speedway a shot, and lap 1 for Cale Gale, 4th fastest overall at a 13.671.
And if you're wondering, that is the son of the Alabama Motorsports International Hall of Fame, Bubba Gale, and with Gale Force suspensions.
And, Cale puts it P2.
Nice.
13.523, about a half a tenth off the provisional pole set by Luke Finhouse, but Cale Gale currently outside of the front row as things currently stand. Meanwhile, out of Clear Lake, Iowa, the MPM Marketing Leaf Valk Racing and Development Chevrolet of Cody King is on track, and something doesn't sound 100% right in that car.
Yeah.
It's about 2 seconds off the pace right now.
Yeah, don't sound like it's got all cylinders firing. Yeah, he's taking it easy around the track, so obviously some kind of mechanical issue on that race car.
Yeah, something amiss on Cody King's car, so tough break for him. And I'm sure they'll go to it, Will Michael Falk and company. Meanwhile, let's head down to James Pike yet again.
With our current provisional pole sitter, Luke Finhouse. And Luke, your first crack here at Franklin County. How excited are you to get after it for 100 laps of racing this evening?
Yeah, it should be a good one. I mean, there's a lot of competition here. Quapple's good. There's good top 4 cars. So it's going to be interesting. You know, we got to save tires a little bit, but I think we're in good shape right now. I'm comfortable with the race car, and I wish we could make some changes to the feature, but with the impound we can't do that. So we'll do our best to do what we always do, and go into the feature and hope for the best.
We'll see whether or not the lap holds up, but he'll be a threat later tonight, regardless of where he starts.
Thank you very much, James. And yes, Luke Finhouse, always a threat, as the pride of Pictou, Nova Scotia is on the speedway. The King Racing number 13 Toyota for Austin McDonald. Lap number 1, good enough for 5th fastest overall to 13.673. Lap 2, slightly slower for Austin McDonald. So looks like P5 for the moment for Austin McDonald, with a handful of bullets still left in the Pro Late Model gun, if you will. Good to see this driver finally make it to a Cars Tour race. They've had all kinds of gremlins pop up the last few weeks. Every time they try to bring the ShopDeegan38.com Chevy out, something else rears its ugly head. From Denver, North Carolina, this is Luke Morey. And I'm sure that the folks from Delk Equipment and Ron Hornaday and people are really going to have their eye on this kid. A lot of promise for Luke Morey. Of course, his dad, Aaron, from Bill Stein Shocks, really have been grooming this kid to be a great racer. And he's shown a lot of promise and legends and bandoleros. And we'll see what he can do here on his second trip around the Franklin County Speedway. Second trip around for Morey, 7th fastest overall to 14.243. Let's head down with the next car, getting up to speed of Michael Geyer, to James Pike, who's got more. James?
I've got Cale Gale with me. And Cale, you didn't even know you were going to be racing this thing not too long ago, and then you hop in. You're currently 2nd on the board. How'd you find all that speed so quickly?
I've been up here twice in years past, and I've always liked this place. And thank you to Ashley and Penn Krim for letting me drive the car today. And it's been about a year since I've raced, but I think we got a pretty good car tonight.
Experience paying off for Cale Gale, who may well be starting on the outside front row when we're all done with this.
Thank you, James. And yeah, anything possible. That if you had that one on your bingo card at home, you might want to go. Who was the one that won the Kentucky Derby? You might want to go bet somebody, because I don't think anybody expected A, Cale Gale to even be here.
Right.
B, to come and just jump in the car and put it P2 for the moment. So certainly good things shaping up potentially for Cale Gale. Just had a conversation with him last week about, he's like, my racing career's done, man. I'm not racing anymore. And well, here he is. So
right, unannounced.
Go figure. The 30 car, by the way, of Michael Geyer, his laps concluded. He is 6th fastest overall, the 13.720. As Charlie Keevan, team led by Taylor Strickland now, the driver out of Hazelwood, Missouri, is on track, and green flag is out for Keevan. The warm-up lap, good enough for 8th fastest. So Keevan finishing up his run. The first lap, good enough for 6th fastest. Second lap puts him in the top 5 at a 13.640. So not a far cry from those ahead of him. So Charlie Keevan currently in the top 5 with 2 very potent competitors yet to go. First of which, originally out of Scarborough, Maine, now making his home in the Mooresville, North Carolina area. Driver number 74 is Ryan Moore.
How about that sponsor there? Plants Seafood. Of course, King Racing and 5-Star Bodies. But it's good to see sponsors like that are not motorsports. Of course, I'm always going to notice the food.
I was going to say, you, of course, picked out the food.
But it's awesome to see sponsors like that come into our sport.
Certainly is, and if they want to bring me some shrimp, I'll be glad to have it.
Oh, I like me some shrimp.
Absolutely. 7th fastest, lap number 1 for Ryan Moore at a 13.709. His Toyota may be a little bit off the pace, and in fact, yes, the second lap is slower for Ryan Moore. So, yeah, not exactly what he's looking for, I'm sure. And just like that, Doc, there is one competitor left. Out of Bluffton, South Carolina, in the number 57. It's hard to see him not in a 56, but in the number 57 car, the Dean Custom Air DLP Motorsports Chevrolet, this is Gus Dean. Ran 3rd here, I believe it was, 2 years ago in a Super. Back for the pro race here this year. The warm-up lap, good enough for 10th fastest.
He won in a pro late model race here, so he came back to get some more laps and get that victory here in another series. So currently 6th on the charts. Still got to come up to the money lap, as they call it.
Let's see what he can dig down deep. Oh, big bobble there,
yes.
And big slide. Lap 2 quicker, though, for Gus Dean.
Wow.
3rd fastest overall to 13.579. So Gus Dean going to put it inside of row number 2. And the fans, well, they've just been entertained. There is no doubt about that. There's our friends from Graphic Solution, looks like. They're everywhere up there, but they got their big tent rolling. I'm sure they're cheering for Carter Langley. Yeah,
there you go.
They're waving at the cameras. You got it. They know what's up. No doubt about that. But Luke Finhouse on the provision, well, no longer provisional. Luke Finhouse is on the Molly Pistons pole here this afternoon for the AutosByNelson.com 225 and the pro late model portion. And with a word with our pole sitter for the, I believe, the 2nd time this season. Yep. Let's head down yet again to James Pike.
Starting P1, later off of the Pro Late Models this evening for the Autos by Nelson 225, Luke Finhouse. And Luke, in the context of this championship fight where it's so close at the top of the standings, how big is this for you to be starting up front tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. A place like here where the bottom, I mean, the low bottom on 1 and 2 is tough to get around. So I think we'll take it as our advantage and kind of run with it. I don't want to burn up our stuff, but it's a good way to start off any weekend. So right page, right race car. We'll just keep digging and hopefully end up in victory lane.
He's got a check that I think he needs to pick up, so we'll step aside and we'll let him pick up the Molly Pistons Pole Award and then let him get set to go racing for 100 laps for the Pro Late Models a little bit later this evening.
Now that right there in the back straightaway, that is the place to be. There is no doubt about that. That is some fine watching back there in the back of that pickup truck. Got him a whole canopy constructed.
He brought his porch with him.
He did.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and look at that. He's got stuff underneath in the tailgate or in the bed.
He brought his grill.
Yeah, we're talking about you, sir. I don't know what's underneath you, but I see it's storage. Smart man. He's got the side table. He's got his drink. I mean, that has got to be in the running for best get up at a racetrack I've seen in quite some time.
That is a veteran race fan.
Certainly is a veteran race fan. Speaking of veteran race fans, here we are here in the booth and enjoying. By the way, if you're coming to the racetrack or you're here, that what's left of the bag of the J&J kettle corn. We've had to already cut it off for what we've dug out of it. So we might need another one here before it's said and done. They've got them over in turn number 1 here. Fantastic stuff, let me tell you. We kept it at arm's reach so neither of us would eat it. Because it's that good, I promise you. But Doc Love here in the booth with me. And before we go off our social media free preview, I got to tell you, what do we have, 13 cars or so break the track record?
The Cars Tour record, and my goodness, ludicrous speed. I keep saying it over and over, but my goodness. How about it, race fans? What do you think about Mike Looney sitting on the pole for today's race? Let me hear you if you're glad to see Mike Looney on the pole. And how about the folks out there on social?
Yes, there's people
Let us hear
here.
from you. Let us hear from you.
Absolutely. They are watching from all over. We had a bunch of Mike Looney fans, folks on the way to the racetrack, folks chiming in. And by the way, I want to say hi before we go off the air to Langley Austin, his wife Kim and the family. Langley under the weather, not able to be here, said, you know what, just in case, I don't want to be out there in case it's something worse than what I think it is. So he's having to do the whole TV thing. But Langley, we miss you, bud. It was good to see you driving around at arm's length the other day. But, hey, you cannot be here. As you see Braden Rogers, Michael Falk and company down there. They've got a good shot. Mason Diaz there by his race car. It's hard to pick anybody out of this field in either division that can win this race.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we like about the Cars Tour and the Pro Late models that are here in companion with this race. Both races are going to be highly competitive. And it's not going to be a runaway. I guarantee you it's going to be lots of action. We expect to see a little bit of everything. But while it's quiet and they can hear me, I just want to tell Michael and those guys, Lee Falk perform. I'm done with you guys. I'm done with you guys.
Oh, does that have anything to do with it, what's on the screen?
Oh, Lord.
It might have something to do with a moonshine barrel or jug or jar.
Like I said, disclaimer, I just took a sip, and it stays with you for a while.
It lit you up.
Driving up this morning, I had a belch, and I got drunk again.
Well, the good news is those barrels that you see on the screen, if you're watching on TV, those trophies come empty. Yeah. Now, what happens to them after they are awarded is not our responsibility. But the barrels, I touched them, I looked at them, I turned them upside down. They are presented empty.
Yep.
What happens later tonight, we cannot be held responsible for.
Yeah, that is one of the coolest trophies, just so unique and so different. That's what makes this place so special. And when I talk about this place, to people about my home track, I always say in the 80s this place is magical, and I think that magic is coming back to Franklin County Speedway with the hard work with Kim and Langley Austin. So it is so awesome to see the fans piling in here. Look at that infield full of race cars. So excited to see this, man. It's a beautiful, warm, lots of memories driving up here on the back roads coming up here to Franklin County Speedway.
Yes, it is, and they are lining up deeper and deeper down the hill to come into this place. So, folks, you're going to see a race. There's going to be a heck of a crowd. The parking lots are already packing in, and, man, they are starting to line up here at the Franklin County Speedway. Green flag about 90 minutes away. So if you're watching on social, get your butt here. You got to be here.
They got the fan.
Fan Fest is coming.
That's right, folks. Get in line. Come down here. You get to see these drivers up close and personal.
Absolutely. So if you're on the way here, hurry up or you're going to lose your spot. There's a bunch of people here. If you're watching on social, check us out if you can't make it on the address on the bottom of the frame, www.carstour.tv, part of the Pit Row TV family. Be glad to have you aboard and catch every lap from here at Franklin County Speedway. One race, the last time we were here, did not disappoint. Something tells me tonight will be no different. Until later, if you're watching on social, we'll see you on the flip side on Cars Tour TV.